Dear guests, dear friends and colleagues, the architect's work is heavily inflected on BIM. In the view of growth, in the use of BIM and information models in the different EU member states, ACE has established a BIM Work Group. As Indrek mentioned, that was an idea 3 years ago, and the board got into that, and we have started the work. And the initiative was that the group should look at the legal, technical, and financial issues regarding the advent of BIM, to develop policies, and to take part in the development of standards. Coming back to that. And the work group also worked on as a horizontal, or work also as a last song with other initiatives that we will hear something about later on in the program. So if you go to the next slide. I can do it here from here, sorry. We had our first meeting in Oslo almost 3 years ago. It is organized under Area 2 in ACE, Practice of the Profession, and I have been chaired it since I started in the board of ACE. We have been very successful with getting members to the group. During the work, we had 21 member countries and approximately 30 experts joining the groups. Not everyone in each meeting, happily. But we are very happy with all the members of the group from all over Europe. We have had 3 meetings a year, and we also have many of the members joining other work groups in SEN and in local initiatives in different countries. I myself is also, as mentioned, a liaison in SEN 442. Technical committee for the new standards. This is almost a green map of Europe. Mention some of the people. Maybe some of you will, we have mentioned those who have been into more than 2 meetings, I think. That was to get on the map. So we are very happy to have that very broad representatives in this work. So thank you, all of you mentioned there, and also some of you not mentioned there. You have done a great work for ACE and for the work group. We have pointed out some issues to start with. It was to develop a kind of reflection on BIM, and coming back to that in the end of this session. The standardization issues and SEN work, to take part of that. Relation with other partners in the construction chain, such as FK and other organizations. We have a discussion on the software issues, authorship, copyright, contract fees, liability. BIM is inflecting very much of those issues. Public procurement has been discussed. CPD and education is also a part of what has been discussed. And also the structure of architect offices. We produced, the work group members in the first year of the group produced some documents on these issues. They are on ACE website under the work group of BIM. So you can find some of the documents there. That doesn't mean that everything written there, everything said about those issues, everyone agree on. It is, but it's done great work on that, and has been discussed and put down to papers in sub-work groups during the process. So again, thank you to all of you who've been part and delivered in that work. This figure maybe shows, trying to illustrate a bit of how we are working, who are the actually stakeholders or the interests in our work. We have had contact with client organizations like the EU BIM task group. We have the contact with SEN. We have contact with FK. And we have also had discussions on data vendors issues. And then we see that many things, according to the BIM issues, inflect on internal ACE works, other groups. And that has to continue, as you see in the bottom there, especially scope of service group, and we had own group meetings according to issues there. We will get some more information from Øyvind on the SEN work, and maybe you will present something about how ISO, SEN, those things are combined. But we are very luckily having been very close to the standardization process. And as you will see up there, we have had, actually at our first meeting in Oslo, Øyvind and other representatives from ISO and SEN were present and told us about the coming work. During the meetings, all the work groups in SEN, there are 4 work groups, all the four chairs of the work groups have visited us and giving them and told about the work. Most of them are architects from the SEN work. We also, from the EU BIM task group, Ilka May visited us at the meeting in Berlin, and we have also have Adam on a video in one of other meetings when they presented the handbook, so he will go further into that. But we have close contact with there, and thank you for that you could participate in our work and giving us the information. We also had meetings on EU level. We had a meeting with Lutz Koppen at DG Grow 1 year ago, and the ACE Secretariat also keep the contact with EU DG Grow on digitalization and the BIM issues. I will be very short with only 4 more slides, I think, in the end. We did a SWOT analysis during the work in BIM Work Group, and we've actually finalized that maybe 1 year ago in a meeting. I presented some of that in another meeting. Then in the Budapest meeting this autumn, we brought it up again and discussed, and we didn't have the same agreement on everything, and that's good. It's about the development. I have made just a summary of some of the issues in a SWOT analysis, and what we can, those of you know what SWOT analysis is, it is strengths with BIM, it is weaknesses with BIM, it's opportunity with BIM, and it's and trouble facing BIM. And some of the things that could be opportunities is also threats, and it's very combined in that. But I think listening to the lessons today, this might be a summary of many of the things. It is quite equal to what we got in the query from presented by Annette, and some of the discussions afterwards. We see that the threats in the safety of information, the question about Autodesk and other levels is a hard thing. And but we see also, on the other hand, the strengths of BIM is the better of the coordination that Astrid mentioned. It is a coordination tool, very much. I don't go into the details on this. You will find it, and you can agree on it, and it's not black and white. It is colored and grayscale, and varies a lot from country to country. What we can see when hearing Peter's speech, there are differences actually between Norway. Norway and Denmark are very equal in most things, but actually in the BIM issues, we are not that equal. That's quite strange. And that brings us to actually the recommendation. We see that for the work in the BIM group, we see that many of the issues could not be solved actually at an overall European level. You have to do the work at local level. Many things have to be solved at local level. We think that member organization, if you don't have, you should establish national expert BIM group to prepare local issues and also to be in contact with the local building smart. We know they are very different from country to country. You have to be in contact with the standardization organizations, put people into positions there when the standardization process is going further. And we know that this standard that Eivind presented will stop at a certain level. We know that this standardization will be not that detailed. It will be brought to a national level, and that will be more serious. Then you have to be aware, you have to be prepared, you have to have the right contacts for that next process. And you have to prepare CPD modules in BIM. The BIM work groups finishes its works in its current form. That is our recommendation. We think we could have the BIM work group and all the experts as a virtual experts organization, as a task force, but that has to be decided by the new board. We think that the scope of services group, and we know that there are BIM experts in this group, they could handle many of the issues. We will continue as a liaison in SEN. And I think for the process further, we are just in a starting point, but as the work has been now, most of it has to be on local level and then on strategic level in ACE, in the BIM, and in the board and in the administration. So in the final, I want to thank all of the members of the group for all the great work done. I want to thank the administration, especially Gerardo, doing a fantastic job assisting me, and Ian as well. You are fabulous. It has been a pleasure being in ACE for those years. And also thank all my colleagues in the board. And have a good, not frozen beer.